anything, right?
Yeah.
So where you are.
So he comes, you be coming behind him like that?
Yeah, at one point. At one place.
Yeah, so
And they're not doing anything.
I'll sit somewhere in
No, just it's like a fixed position. We are all showing, we're not moving. The space balance, the balance is right.
Right.
Start recording now.
Thank you. Ready, Umoyo. So cameras, are we ready?
Umoyo Network.
19, widening the generation gap among children, youths, and the elderly. What was this topic? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Umoyo podcast. I'm so excited today to have you back on our YouTube channel. To our subscribers, you guys have been an amazing team. I think we are above 50 now. A big hand, guys, a big hand. Yeah. So we are heading somewhere. Really, we are. Really, we are. And I would just like to say thank you so much to everybody that has been supporting us, everybody that has been liking our videos, sharing them. Let's keep sharing these videos. Let's keep liking them. Let's keep subscribing. Remember to hit the notification bell and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Welcome to today's episode. Now, today on this episode, we have an amazing and interesting topic at the same time. And in the studio with me, by the way, we are shooting live from Mulungushi University, the only university abroad in Zambia.
We're not the best. We all know it.
Yeah, by the way, we are the best medical school in Zambia now. What number one? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You guys don't read news, do you? Imagine. All right, guys. So in the studio with me is
Hope Banda.
David. Just David.
Just David. So he's David.
Busoma Mlenga.
Emmanuel Nkata.
All right, and I'm your host Uzil H. Welcome to the Umoyo Network. All right, so our guest today is Mr. David. We just invited him. So Mr. David, we have this slogan where we say, and together we are the Umoyo Network.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so we'll do it again. Together we are the Umoyo Network. All right, today's topic is quite intriguing, if you ask me.
Yeah.
The topic is technology is widening the generation gap among children, youths, and the elderly people. True or false? Is technology widening the generation gap among children, youths, and the elderly people? Ladies first, Hope. What's your take?
What's the big bang, man?
Hope, what's your take? Do you feel technology is actually widening the generation gap among children, youths, and the elderly people?
Okay, so before I answer that question,
mic.
I'd like you to break the question down a little bit more. So break down the generation gap.
Oh, you want to break it down?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think basically the generation gap, in its literal sense, would mean the interests of a generation. Like in today's generation, we prefer sitting back in our rooms and chatting on Facebook and Instagram, while the older generation prefers sitting down and reading books. So is the coming in and the advancement of technology bringing these two generations together, or the gap keeps on widening? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm actually getting tempted to choose both sides, but I'll choose one side. So I think it is somehow widening the gap because instead of sitting together as a family in a living room and watching TV, having quality time, I would rather go to my room, be on my phone and text people or watch a movie. Yeah, so it is widening the gap. Yeah, we can work on that.
So Hope is saying it is widening the gap because she would rather go to her room and be on social media and like, being with her family, parents, the elderly people in the house.
Sometimes.
watching TV, and all that. So you being on social media is enough reason to claim that technology is actually widening the gap among the youths, your youth, among the youths and the elderly people.
Yes, because I remember when I was younger, before I knew any of these things, like before I had a lot of interest in watching TV or being on my phone, there were times we'd sit together as a family, electricity has gone, and then your parents will start telling you things like, let me use the Zambian term, utushimi. So you sit down and then you pay so much attention, you hear them say the same story. But I don't see that happening anymore. I feel like things have advanced, so people would rather listen to an audio book or read a book on their phone rather than have their parents tell the stories to them.
Musuma would love to add on that. Before you add on that, Musuma, could you say the youths, it is the youth's fault that technology is actually widening the gap, the generation gap between the youths and the elderly people? Could you say the youths are actually at fault? They're the ones that are actually, embracing technology in a way that encourages the widening, generation gap, the widening of the generation gap, rather. Okay. Yeah. Or is it from both aspects? Is it from both our parents, our elderly people, or it's actually just one-sided, which is the youths, or it's on both ends? Before you add on to what Hope just said.
Okay, on that one, I think the elderly are to be blamed, if I'm to look at it properly, because there's a mentality in these old people, but the elderly, there's a mentality in the elderly.
Came out wrong, eh?
Okay, I'm very sorry for that. But there's a mentality by the elderly where they wouldn't want to learn the current trends in what is happening. Like the elderly will say, back then in the church, we used to clap with hands and sing, and would really feel connected to God. But in today's generation, we say we want drums, we want speakers and all that. So they will not want to adapt to what we are doing today, and that is creating that gap. In the same way, this is a university and you enter a lecture room, trying to use your social media to research while in class. Your lecturer, who is an elderly man, will say, go out of my class because you are disturbing. Why are you on that thing when I'm teaching? There is a library for you. But then there is advancement that has come according to what Hope said. And I think we can ride on advancement whereby even families can sit down together. Instead of doing the Zambian thing called utushimi or storytelling, it is best to say, okay, Dad, have you seen what Nathaniel Bassey, the musician, have you heard the new song? Here is a song. Then Mom will say, oh, I heard that song. Then we connect like that. My dad will come and say, have you seen the move that the UPND has made? And I will say, oh, I saw a similar thing by the PF, and we'll connect like that. So I think it calls for collective effort from both sides to find a ground of understanding. Yeah, so we are both to be blamed.
You are contradicting yourself now. Earlier you said it is the elderly people.
The elderly are to be blamed more because they don't want to adapt. But the youth also have a small part to play in it.
Which is?
Emmanuel, would you love to add on that?
You said it because I don't know if I'm going to agree with whatever you guys have said.
Oh, okay. Okay. You can add on to what Hope said earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Or it's okay? You wanted to add on to something?
Yeah, what Hope talked about utushimi.
You wanted to add on? No, you.
No, it's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Emmanuel is saying the elderly people are to be blamed.
That's Wusuma.
The elderly people... Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, Wusuma. Don't feel special. Wusuma is saying the elderly people are to be blamed. Reason being they don't want to adapt. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Before we get to Emmanuel, David.
Yeah.
What's your take on this one? Let me not ask much. What's your take? What's your opinion on this one?
Go for it, buddy.
I've been holding myself back, listening to the both of you. I was wondering what Emmanuel was going to say about it, but I'll come back.
Okay, you just
I'll be back.
The mic like that.
Like this, it's fine?
Yeah, like that.
All right, so it's not really dividing it, but it just has a role in it. Mm-hmm. Because to begin with, why are you divided? Is it because of the phone, or is it because we can't talk about the same things I'm talking with my friends on the phone with you?
Okay, that is interesting.
That's the thing. Parents also, the elder generation also has a slight role to play in why the gap is growing big, but it's not just because of technology. It all begins when you're young. You form a very special bond with your parents, your grandparents when you're very young. When you're 13, you now want to like spend more time with your friends, away from mom and everyone else, learn different things, learn them from somewhere else. But then your grandma would definitely tell you, back in the day, I was the most beautiful woman. She can't tell her daughter because that's her daughter, but you are the grandchild. She can talk to you in a way she can't talk with her daughter, if you've noticed.
Yeah.
You guys have heard of the saying that says your grandmother is the same thing as your wife.
Yeah.
Because you have that special bond with your grandma. You can tell her anything. You can complain to your parents about her and she'll be there to do something about it rather than your own parents would have. That special bond that's there. That's the kind of connection most people seek to have, isn't it? But today we'd find that parents would rather their children look tech savvy, so introduce them to new technologies at a very young age. You expose them to the screen. You want them to watch cartoons more often so that they can have that English
Learning
accent,
culture.
you know?
Yes.
They need to have that British accent, like whatever.
Whatever.
That you want them to have that kind of a feel to say that they are at that level. But as time goes on, when they further separate from you, you'd find that they can't even speak the same language as their grandparents. You can't speak Nyanja, you can't speak Bemba, you can't speak that special language that only your grandma knows, but you both know it's got a special cultural significance. You know, there are certain words you can say in Bemba that you can't say in English.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
Of course, what if you have a Chinese grandparent? She can teach you to say certain words in Chinese that will pass other people in English or in Bemba. But you know, it's got that special meaning. So now when you're far apart and you now have that strong relationship with your parents, how are you going to reconnect? Are you going to reconnect by flying on a spoon? Because you've lost that back in the day.
Yeah.
You'd probably go back to your phone. You'd have a video call with them. You'd continue the conversation. You'd have a family group chat where you'd even gossip about that uncle who you know what he did but you're not supposed to do. It also brings people closer that way. The divide comes in with how we choose to expose our children to what priorities we want them to set. If they'd rather spend time with their friends, why can't they spend time with you? So you need to make sure you have that time to bond with one another in the vehicle. You talk to them how their day was. Be comfortable speaking. Be comfortable talking to your parents about what they are interested in. And the other way around, be comfortable with talking to your children with what they are interested in. That way, you continue building the bond. I would rather spend my time with my mom than most of you. Some of you are boring. Of course, ouch, but my mom's so cool. I would like to go out with her. Always eating out with her is always fun.
Okay.
Yes.
So in conclusion, is technology widening the generation
Widening
gap?
the gap. That's why I'm going for the middle ground.
So it is not and it is.
It is. It's just the person that's there in between.
Thank you, Mr. David. Amazing insights from David. Amazing insights.
Yeah.
Emmanuel. Emmanuel, God with us. Is technology, has technology widened the generation gap between the youths and the elderly people?
Okay.
And the children too?
Thank you.
So to narrow it down, do you feel technology has widened the generation gap between you as a youth and the elderly people in your community or at home? Yeah.
Okay, so number one, I feel like a technology is not widening the gap, but rather it's bringing us closer. Yeah.
How?
Generations though. But
He's saying no. He say no.
I feel like it's doing that, like it's like a bridge to like even connect us even more, but maybe in a new way. But then it's our response to technology. I think people are using it in a different way where, so first of all, I'll talk about this, right? So let's say I'm in this generation right now, maybe my grandmother, okay, let me just go a bit closer. My auntie maybe, they were in a different generation. So back then, the level of technology was at a specific level where they adapted to that level. In my generation, it improved even more, right? So there's a difference there. It's widening. So right now, it's okay. No, listen, it's not widening right now. So the only key issue here is the ability to adapt to the new technology, to learn, right? So right now, there's I'll talk about social media. You understand, right? So a long time ago, we never had access to actually like reach out to our grandparents or parents or aunties who were like maybe or far away in different countries, maybe in Europe, in Zambia, in Malawi. Okay, technology has brought about a platform where I can connect with these people. We interact, we laugh, jokes and stuff like that. But the key issue is how much we adapt into the technology, ability to learn. So if my uncle can learn this new technology at a faster rate, it means it makes life easy for me to connect with him even more, right? You understand? Yeah. So now I've got new ways of interacting because of technology. There's there's all these TikTok videos, there's YouTube, there's like all these new ways, and the problem comes in if these people, the lagged generation, right, the previous generation, if they choose to say, okay, this new way of living is not our thing. Okay, we have our own ways of living, so us won't live up to this, and we want our children to come back to the roots. Guys, in tradition we did this. Now that's a problem. It's because there's no space for learning, and children won't adapt to that. It's because of the new technology. But the key thing is to also advance, evolve to the new timeline. You understand, right? So if we can all adapt to the new timeline and the new technology, then the gap is becoming less now, and there's more interaction and there's more understanding, because now technology has made things easy for us to interact and catch up. And yeah.
No. He's saying no, but before he comes in, Hope. He mentioned, let me ask you this, Emmanuel. You mentioned of if it's all about the ability for us all to adapt to technology, so that technology can actually not widen per se, but connect us. My question is, do you expect everyone to adapt, even your grandmother, to adapt to this technology? Because when we talk about the elderly people, we're talking about people that were there during the colonial era,
Yeah, so I think that's the problem.
Hope, do you think it's possible for everyone to connect? To adapt?
I don't think those people would be able to adapt.
Say that again?
I don't think those people would be able to adapt because that's a very long time ago. Okay, I'm sure they would adapt to the things like you talked about postcards and how we used to have letters. Like if you want to talk to someone, you send them a letter. But now it's easier. You just send them a text message or an email if you want to do anything business related. So I don't think the old people would adapt easily, but technology has really lessened the gap. Yeah, it's just about how you use it, how you choose to use it.
So technology has increased the gap?
No, it has reduced the gap.
How?
It has increased the gap.
He's saying, okay, before David comes in, I'd like him to just express his bond of contention. Yeah.
Wait. First of all, I do appreciate your.
Just put the mic closer.
I do appreciate your views to say technology has lessened the gap because of effective communication.
Thank you, sir.
And another example would be coming to Mulungushi University, and I'm on Facebook. The moment I stay in this land for a week, Facebook will start bringing people and saying, people you may know, people around Mulungushi, and that will help me connect.
Excellent.
But riding on that, me connecting with those people will mean less of communication with the people I know. So this is what happens in most homes, and the reason why most parents can't communicate with their children. So we'll shift to a new area. Then the moment we get there, here is my young brother who gets his phone, goes on Facebook, and Facebook immediately brings people you may know. He immediately connects and begins to chat with those friends. So you'll find those conversations much more interesting, other than having time to sit down with the parents, to learn from them and to hear what they have to say. And that will continue bringing the gap between the two generations. So I'll prefer connecting with friends who have similar interests, especially on Facebook. If I've put to say I'm a fan of music, I'm a fan of basketball, I'm a fan of swimming, it will bring people in that line. So if my elderlies or my parents are not in that category, it's so hard to connect with them, and the gap cannot be lessened anymore, and the bridge will continue being there.
Is it urgent, Hope?
Yeah, how it almost just went. I
Okay,
think it has
then
gone.
after you, then David.
Don't you think, like, out of everything, you have conversations with your friends, right?
Yeah.
But, like, eventually you get tired. It's just going to be hi, hello, how are you, how's your day? It's going to be a routine.
Yes.
But the moments that you just have with your family members, your grandparents or your fathers, aunties, when you spend time with them, like, there's just something beautiful about it. Like, the way you connect, it's just so natural. You're not forcing anything, it just happens. So,
Technology is
Is it?
Okay, to our viewers, please like this video. Remember to share the video and remember to drop your comments. And if you'd like to be a part of us, we are shooting live from Lungushi University. Please do text us. Our number will be on the screen. We'll send you transport money.
we are rich.
oh yeah, we are.
Why is our guest laughing?
Yeah.
No, but on a serious note, would love you guys to be a part of this podcast. So please, we'll send you transport money. You come here, and together we can share the Umoyo love and Umoyo ideas. We are in our dying minutes. We are about to wrap up. So, David, I'd like you to be quite brief before we can call it a day.
Sure.
Yeah. So, our producer there is saying 2 minutes, guys.
2 minutes.
So you have 45 seconds.
Wow, can it be like 50?
Okay, 50.
Okay, so my question that comes to all of you is, you said adapt? Adapt? Adapt?
He said adaptability.
Me, I'm on the
Adapt.
adapt.
It's
Yeah.
widening.
Adapting.
Did you mention adapt at some point in time?
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
You mentioned adapt, right?
No, I was
Okay.
echoing your.
Oh, okay. As the
answers.
echo, you said adapt. Just said adapt. So my question is it adapt or adopt? Because technology is there to solve a problem. So we all know WhatsApp there connects us with people that we don't know. But when WhatsApp came in, it's a new one between Facebook. It's regressing. Because how do you talk to a stranger you do not know if you don't have their number using WhatsApp? Because people just felt the need to say, I don't want to talk to people I don't know anymore. What if I get scammed? I just want to have a closer circle of friends, people who I have spoken to in person. I have gotten their numbers. I can text them for free. That's another way we've regressed rather than advanced. So now it's a question to say, technology is there to solve a problem. So if it's solving a problem, how is it widening the gap? So the problem is how we are still connecting. I laughed when he mentioned to say he's going to send transport money because vehicles are another form of technology, right? It's literally connecting people. But at the same time,
But is it connecting the elderly and the youths?
How-
That's the biggest question, because
So-
I feel it's more of the youths amongst themselves. It's more of the elderly amongst themselves.
Amongst
so there's
themselves.
that gap that is actually being considered.
so now
yeah.
my question comes in is, how are you going to see your grandmother who stays in another town because your father moved by walking? You're obviously going to drive there. If there's no transport money, you WhatsApp call them because it's for free.
Yeah.
Bundles are cheaper than minutes.
But can your grandmother in the village access WhatsApp?
That's maybe the problem now. It's
Yeah, that's why we have.
if they can't adopt it, so you now just have to send them postcard, transport money.
Okay.
So you accept, right?
Advance the rule.
So
Alright.
my tip for having better connection is find more time to spend with them. Talk about the little things. It
Yeah.
helps quite a lot. Work together.
Thank you. Amazing. Amazing. Right. We've come to the end. I know Musuma has got many more. Musuma is just against these guys. These guys yeah.
It's fine.
Don't worry, I'm the middle ground. You can come to me, okay?
All right, I've been your host Uzil H, and with me in the studio has been Emmanuel Wusuma, David, and Hope. And behind the cameras has been Mr. Musonda and Mr. Moses. Thank you so much to our production manager, Mr. Nkata. It has been an amazing podcast today, shooting live from Lungushi University. And from me and the team in the studio, it is goodbye. And together we are the Umoyo Network. All right, guys, remember to ask questions. We might do a part 2 for this video if you guys still have burning questions.
And comments, guys.
And comments, please. And share the video. Yeah. All right.
See you next time.
See you guys.
Peace.